Past Lives is the indie darling that's pulling the rug out from under people as they succumb to this heart-wrenching tale of a happily ever after that never was. Inspired by true events, it presents a distinctly honest approach to love, made even more interesting by its multicultural protagonist. But before I get further into it, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and switching on notifications, as it really helps us out. Past Lives is a gentle film, but it manages to take a visceral hold on its audience with that what-if premise. When films like this deal with, to put it in a Spider-Verse way, canon events in their protagonist's life in which the course of their future fundamentally changes, it makes for an intense watch. Speaking of the multiverse, many science fiction films that deal with it also ask the what-if question, but often show the alternate realities, such as was beautifully and hilariously done in Everything Everywhere All at Once. In terms of romance, however, the question is often used for a bittersweet ending, as in what if the couple had stayed together, like in La La Land or Brokeback Mountain. Atonement came to mind as a what-if romance that cut me as deep as Past Lives did, but even that, and vague spoiler incoming, indulged its audience by playing out much of the happy ending before the twist. The typical happy ending in Past Lives resides only in the imagination, on glances exchanged between Nora and Hae-sung as they picture the life they could have led together, but neither they nor the audience get to experience it. Song resists indulging in what didn't happen and instead portrays a character who is content with the decisions she has made and the partner she has chosen. This takes courage both for the character and for Song to present within this current society that is obsessed with the fear of missing out. I say the experience of watching this film is gentle because nothing much happens. The action is deceptively unexciting. Indeed, the characters don't go through any revolutionary changes and spend most of the time just having convincingly normal conversations. But these are littered with some of the most subtly profound lines that I've ever had the pleasure of hearing. For example, the often quoted "You dream in a language I can't understand." And another of Arthur's poetic musings, "You make my life so much bigger." These aren't said holding up a boombox towards a bedroom window or crying in the rain. They're said in the privacy of an apartment uniquely made into a home by these two people. It was wonderful feeling so well connected to these characters, though admittedly the film spends most of its time exploring them in relation to one another rather than as individuals. We learned a bit more about Nora through flashbacks, in particular to the months before and during her family's move to Canada. I enjoyed the performances of the young actors and understand how this helped set up Nora and Hae-sung's online reunion, but it also felt a bit distracting by showing us the truth of their early relationship, be it positive, instead of doubling down on the rose-tinted memories that we are left to imagine. I would have personally enjoyed seeing that time used to show Nora growing up and experiencing that clash of cultures. Luckily, the runtime is a very comfortable 1 hour and 45 minutes, and every time they held a shot for longer than anticipated during the anti-fairy tale in action, this added to the nervous what-if energy. Song efficiently captures this awkwardness with captivating long shots and minimal cuts, which to some may translate to boredom, but not if Nora's dilemma or the premise generally interests you. This is especially true if you can, like myself, relate to growing up with one culture at home and one culture at school, with the inevitable adulthood confrontation of the two. Of course, the theme is not unique, but increasingly more universal, and what I found fascinating about Song's particular angle is how she considers its effect on the person's loved ones. Arthur bringing up how Nora dreams in Korean illuminated an aspect of having two cultures that I hadn't really considered, despite experiencing it myself. I remember when I was a child that there were moments I had to actively decide which language to think in, especially when both languages were still quite underdeveloped. And I remember feeling guilty thinking in English more as I grew up and became interested in writing. Past Lives made me consider the power of language and, excuse my cheesiness, also the language of love, particularly in methods of communication. Nora and Hae-sung attempt to make contact online before Arthur comes into her life, but the long distance doesn't work. Then Nora and Arthur meet because they both attend a writer's retreat, a place that brings together individuals specifically interested in language, in communicating something through their writing. There's a scene in which Arthur casually signs copies of his book, which is brilliantly titled Boner, a detail that is never mentioned anywhere else in the film and is an example of how much words hold weight, because I wasn't sure whether I liked him more or less because of the title of his book. Past Lives also features the classic fish out of water trope, with Hae-sung unable to really speak English and vice versa with Arthur unable to really speak Korean, both relying on Nora to translate. Thankfully, there's a distinct lack of machismo, with both men showing appropriate maturity and understanding that this isn't about them. They trust Nora to translate truthfully, but she holds incredible power in deciding when and what to communicate to each person, and her relationship with both languages affects this. One example is when Nora is describing the concept of inyon to Arthur, ending with saying it's just something Koreans say to seduce someone, which is exactly what she's doing, utilizing one culture to explore and serve the other. Overall, Past Lives is deceivingly simple. It delicately uses its characters to explore the topics of fate, language, culture, and relationships, with details that really make you think about your own what-ifs. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe and switch on notifications so you don't miss future videos, and comment below with your thoughts on the film. For more film content, feel free to follow us on Letterboxd and TikTok, links in the description. Otherwise, this has been Tea Break Film Reviews. My name's Michelle, and I hope you have a great day.